Have you ever really thought about how that thing you just bought online gets to you? I mean, it goes from a factory, maybe halfway across the world, all the way to your front door, sometimes in just a couple of days. It's kind of like magic, right? Well, it's not magic. It's a complex dance of data and decisions. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the science that makes it all happen. Supply chain analytics.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll tackle the main challenge, matching supply and demand. Then, we'll open up the analytics toolkit to see the tools of the trade. After that, we'll follow a product on its journey, see how this all works with some amazing real-world examples, and finally, we'll peek into the future.
Okay, so let's get right to it. At its core, any company that makes or sells, well, anything, is constantly trying to solve one giant puzzle. And this right here is the question. It's the whole ball game. How do you get the perfect product to the right spot at exactly the right moment without it costing a fortune? If you nail it, customers are happy, business is good. But if you get it wrong, whoops, you're looking at warehouses packed with stuff nobody wants. Or, even worse, empty shelves when people are dying to buy your product. It is an incredibly high-stakes balancing act. So, how in the world do modern companies even begin to solve this puzzle? Well, that's where supply chain analytics comes in. It's all about grabbing this absolute flood of information. We're talking everything from raw material costs to what you're buying at the checkout counter, and using some seriously powerful tools to make smarter, faster decisions. The goal? Perfectly syncing up what they have with what we want. Okay, so let's pop the hood and look at this toolkit. Supply chain analytics basically gives managers 3 different kinds of superpowers. It lets them see what's happening right now, predict what's about to happen, and then figure out the best move to make. First up, we have Descriptive Analytics. Think of this as the detective. Its whole job is to give you a clear picture of the here and now. We're talking about using GPS to track your entire fleet of delivery trucks in real time, or using RFID tags to know down to the item what's on a pallet in some warehouse. It answers that one simple but vital question: what is happening right now? Next, you've got Predictive Analytics. This one is the fortune teller. This is where companies dig into all their past data to get a glimpse of the future. They'll analyze years of sales figures to build these really smart models that can forecast, say, how many air conditioners they're going to sell next June. It's all about answering, okay, what do we think will happen? And finally, we get to the real powerhouse, Prescriptive Analytics. This is the strategist. This is where the magic really happens, because it takes what the detective found, the what is, and what the fortune teller saw, the what will be, and it runs all of that through some heavy-duty optimization models. And it doesn't just show you charts, it gives you a clear plan. It answers the ultimate question: what should we do? So you can really see the journey here, right? You go from just knowing what's going on to forecasting what's coming, and finally to taking decisive action. Each step is built on the last, and it's how companies turn just, raw data into a massive competitive edge. Okay, so we have this amazing analytics toolkit. That's great. But tools are pretty useless if you don't know where to apply them. You need a map. And luckily, there's a standard framework that companies use to chart out any product's journey from start to finish. And that map is called the SCOR model. It stands for Supply Chain Operations Reference, and it's like a universal language. It breaks every single supply chain down into these 5 key stages: plan, source, make, deliver, and return. It's how everyone stays on the same page for how a product gets from an idea all the way to a customer, and even back again if it needs to be returned. Now, here is the absolute key takeaway. Everything, and I mean everything, depends on that very first step: plan. That planning stage, which is powered by the predictive forecasting we just talked about, is literally the brain of the entire operation. If the plan is off, the other 4 stages descend into total chaos. It's that important. All right, enough theory. Let's get to the good stuff. How does this all actually play out in the real world? Because this isn't just academic. Major companies are using these very tools to get incredibly efficient and, frankly, to save billions and billions of dollars. Let's start with Hewlett-Packard. So, they use Prescriptive Analytics to take a hard look at their gigantic portfolio of products. And the results were just stunning. They found out they could offer only a fifth of their existing laptop features and still capture 80% of their revenue. Think about that. It allowed them to slash complexity, simplify everything, and send their profit margins through the roof. Now, when it comes to that planning step, every company faces a classic choice. Do you go with a level strategy, where you just produce at a nice steady rate all year and build up inventory for the busy seasons? Or do you try to chase strategy, where you're constantly hiring, firing, and changing production to chase demand as it goes up and down? Both have huge costs, and analytics is the key to finding that perfect, most profitable mix between the two. Or take a giant like Procter & Gamble. Their challenge is insane. They have to manage inventory not just for one store, but across this sprawling global network of factories, giant distribution centers, and retailers. It's called a multi-echelon system. And the problem is, a decision that seems smart for one little warehouse could be a total disaster for the network as a whole. So what did they do? They built a prescriptive analytics model that could look at and optimize their inventory across the entire system at once. And the result? P&G saved, wait for it, $1.5 billion in a single year. That is the jaw-dropping power of optimizing the whole system instead of just its individual parts. And it's not just about stuff on shelves. Check out this logistical puzzle. Waste management fields 26,000 vehicles running almost 20,000 unique routes every single day. Trying to optimize that by hand, it's literally impossible. You just can't do it. So they brought in a system that combined that descriptive data, like GIS maps and street info, with prescriptive optimization algorithms. The payoff was huge, $44 million in savings in just 1 year, all from finding smarter routes for their trucks. Incredible. Okay, so this whole time, we've been working on one big assumption, that demand is what it is, and you have to change your supply to meet it. But for this last part, let's get a little crazy. What if you could flip that entire idea completely on its head? What if you could change demand to meet your supply? This wild idea is called revenue management, and you've seen it a million times. Just think about the airline industry. A plane has a fixed number of seats, right? That's their supply, it's fixed. So instead of building more planes when a flight is popular, they use dynamic pricing to change demand. They raise prices to make sure they sell every single seat for the highest possible price. It's a reverse approach, and it's genius. And that really is where all of this is going. As these analytical tools get more and more powerful, the line between just predicting demand and actually controlling it starts to get really, really blurry. So the final thought I want to leave you with is this. What happens, what becomes possible when seeing the future isn't enough? What happens when you can actually start to shape it?